Hey everyone, and welcome. Think of me as your personal editor for the day. We've sifted through all the noise to bring you the stories that really, truly matter. So, let's dive right in.
So, here's what's on the docket. We're going to start with the big picture: power, policy, and global partnerships. Then, we'll follow the money into markets and business. After that, we hit the wild world of tech. And we'll wrap it all up with some big ideas that'll really make you think.
All right, first up, power, policy, and partnerships. This is all about the major chess moves happening on both the national and the global stage.
And it is a busy, busy map right now. You've got India building out this huge national defense shield, the Sudarshan Chakra project. On the trade front, Pakistan and Poland are looking to crack that $1 billion mark in annual trade. Then there's this really interesting nuclear safety bill. It basically says, hey, it's one thing to get a license to build a plant, but you need a totally separate license to operate it safely. And of course, in the political arena, things are heating up over what to name government programs, with accusations flying about who owns a historical legacy.
You know, this right here captures the new political reality perfectly. It's not just about shaking hands anymore. On one side, you have a challenger, Matapag, who's using social media to make his on-the-ground work go viral. And on the other, you have an incumbent, Kerr, who's realized, hey, if I want to stay connected, I have to be here. They're starting from different points, but they end up in the exact same place. Social media is the main stage now.
Okay, let's follow the money. We're heading into our business and markets section, where we'll look at everything from crypto to the concrete challenges of our nation's infrastructure.
Get a load of this number: $300 billion. That's how much Bitcoin was just sitting there, untouched, for over a year, and then it all started moving in 2025. Now, you might think, wow, the market must be hot, but analysts are actually calling this a slow bleed. It's a sign that even the diehard, long-term holders are quietly cashing out. So, from the digital world, let's get back to good old-fashioned concrete. This number, 643, is in dollars. It's the number of national highway projects that have blown past their deadlines. It's a huge reminder that building the physical backbone of a country is messy, complicated, and full of real-world roadblocks. So while the physical roads are facing delays, our digital highways are absolutely exploding. This number, 1,037, that's the number of international patents geo-platforms filed. I mean, that's more than double the next 9 companies combined. It just goes to show they are a massive force in India's tech scene, especially as we're all looking ahead past 5G to what 6G will bring.
So, what's the plan for those highways? Well, it's basically a two-step process. First up, we're going to see a lot more barrier-free tolls that use cameras and RFID to just let you drive right through. But that's just step one. The real end game, a system based on satellites that tracks exactly how far you've driven and charges you for just that. Yeah, toll plazas could become a thing of the past.
Okay, time to pivot to our third section, technology's tipping point. This is where we look at the really cutting-edge stuff, the kind of innovation that holds incredible promise, but also raises some brand new ethical questions we're all still trying to figure out. And you know, nothing really captures that feeling, that anxiety, quite like this cartoon. You've got the old-school meteorologist being replaced by an AI. It's funny for sure, but it's also a perfect, pointed way to kick off our look at artificial intelligence, a technology that people are either incredibly hopeful about or deeply afraid of.
And this slide really gets to the heart of that whole debate. On one hand, you've got AI as the potential savior. We see Trump media exploring nuclear fusion, believe it or not, to solve the massive energy problem that AI creates. But on the other hand, AI is the suspect. The U.S. Federal Trade Commission is investigating Instacart's pricing tool, worried it could be manipulating customers. It's a total paradox, right? Promise and peril, living side by side.
Okay, here's a question I bet you've never really thought about. What happens to all your online accounts after you're gone? This is fascinating. Your Aadhaar identity, it just stays on the server. Google, on the other hand, actually lets you decide who gets your digital stuff. But then you have platforms like Twitter and Yahoo, send them a death certificate, and poof, the account is gone. It's a wild reminder that our digital legacies are pretty much in the hands of corporate terms of service.
All right, let's get into our final section. Think of this as the op-ed page, where we stop just reporting the news and start asking the bigger questions, the why behind it all.
So, first up, get ready for a wild take on modern life. There's an article out there making a case for trolling. But wait, not just to be mean. The argument is that trolling can be a kind of performance art. The idea is you should have an opinion on absolutely everything online and wield it like, and I'm quoting here, a flaming sword of righteous nonsense.
And now, let's do a complete 180. To contrast that idea of just adding more noise, we have this quote from Osho. He argues that real perception, real knowledge, is only possible when we quiet the mind, when we free it from the slavery of memory. What a clash of ideas, right? One says shout your opinion from the rooftops. The other says true wisdom comes from tuning all of that out.
Which brings us to this really important new concept, algorithmic accountability. We've all seen it, right? You look up a flight and the price changes 2 minutes later. Well, that's often an algorithm, not a person. So this new idea says, hey, instead of trying to find a human to blame, we need to hold the code accountable. We need to be able to look under the hood and see why it's making the decisions it's making for us.
And really, that's the thought I want to leave you with today. In this world we've just talked about, a world full of online performance art, invisible algorithms setting prices, and just so much noise, how do we do it? How do we tell the difference between a loud opinion and actual knowledge? Something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me.